All right, today we're going to dive into a really powerful piece of legislation, the National Green Tribunal Act of 2010. This is the law that created a very special kind of court in India, one with a single, absolutely crucial mission, to deliver environmental justice and to do it fast.
I mean, just think about that for a second. If a river gets poisoned or a whole section of forest is illegally chopped down, who actually speaks up for the river? Who goes to court for the trees? This is the big fundamental question that the National Green Tribunal, or the NGT, was created to answer.
So, let's get into it. Why was a special green court even necessary in the first place? What was the actual problem that needed a solution this big?
Well, it really boiled down to a few key things. For starters, India's regular courts were just swamped. Cases would drag on for years, sometimes decades, and all the while, the environmental damage was just getting worse and worse. On top of that, these aren't simple cases. They're incredibly complex, and you need a deep understanding of science to make the right call. And finally, India had made promises on the world stage, at major global conferences, to create a better system for environmental justice. But this wasn't just about outside pressure. It's much deeper than that. As the Act's own introduction says, this court is built on Article 21 of India's constitution, the fundamental right to life. The Supreme Court had already made it clear. The right to life doesn't mean much if you don't have a healthy environment to live in. So this court is literally founded on the bedrock of a basic human right.
So, with the problem crystal clear, let's meet the solution that Parliament brought to life back in 2010.
The mission statement is right there in the first few lines of the law: effective and expeditious disposal of cases. Those are the two magic words: effective and expeditious. This was never meant to be just another court in the system. It was designed from the ground up to be faster and, frankly, smarter.
And how fast is expeditious? Get this. The Act says the tribunal has to try to wrap up cases within 6 months of them being filed. 6 months. Compared to the old way of doing things, that timeline is absolutely revolutionary.
This brings us to a really important question. Who are the people making these high-stakes decisions so quickly? Well, the answer to that is the NGT's secret weapon. Its superpower, really. The way its benches are put together.
The best way to think about the NGT is like a specialist doctor, right? If you have a serious heart condition, you don't go to your family doctor, you go to a cardiologist. Well, the NGT is the environment's team of specialists.
And what makes this team so special is that it's a hybrid. It's not just judges. You have judicial members, we're talking seasoned judges from the high courts or even the Supreme Court, who bring all the legal firepower. But sitting right there with them are the expert members. These are scientists, engineers, people with PhDs and at least 15 years of real-world, hands-on experience in environmental science. It's this incredible fusion of law and science at the same table.
And here is the real masterstroke, the secret sauce of the whole thing. The law demands that every bench must have an equal number of judicial and expert members. This makes sure that every single decision is a true blend of legal procedure and scientific fact. Law and science get an equal say, an equal vote, every single time.
Okay, so you've got this dream team of lawyers and scientists. What can they actually do? Let's take a look at the tribunal's powers.
Its authority is huge. The NGT can hear cases related to 7 of India's most critical environmental laws. This covers pretty much everything you can think of: water pollution, air pollution, protecting forests, preserving biodiversity. Basically, if a major environmental law is broken, the NGT is the forum. Now, what's really important is that the NGT doesn't just apply the law blindly. It's guided by 3 internationally recognized principles. First, sustainable development, the idea that we can have progress but not at the expense of our future. Second, the precautionary principle, which basically says if something looks like it could be harmful, you act now. You don't wait for 100% proof. And third, my favorite, the polluter pays principle. It's simple. You make the mess, you pay to clean it up.
And its power goes way beyond just saying, stop that. The NGT can order compensation for people who've been harmed. It can force a company to pay for the complete restoration of an entire ecosystem, and it can make sure damaged property is rebuilt. It has real power to make things right again.
So, this brings us to the teeth of the Act. An order from the NGT is not a friendly suggestion. Let's look at what happens if you decide to just ignore it.
For an individual who fails to comply with an NGT order, they can be put in prison for up to 3 years. And on top of that potential jail time, that same person can be fined up to 10 crore rupees. That's about 1.2 million US dollars.
And what about for a company? The penalty is even bigger. The fine can go up to 25 crore rupees. That's over 3 million US dollars. We are talking about serious money. These are not just slaps on the wrist.
And here's maybe the most powerful part of the whole act. It says that the NGT Act has an overriding effect. What does that mean? It means if there's a conflict between this act and any other law when it comes to an environmental issue, the NGT Act wins. Its word is final.
So where does the NGT fit in the legal food chain? Its position is pretty unique. Regular civil courts, they can't touch these cases. An appeal doesn't even go to a high court. No, the only way to challenge an NGT decision is to go straight to the top, to the Supreme Court of India. And you only have 90 days to do it. That gives its decisions incredible finality and weight.
So, when you put it all together, the National Green Tribunal Act created this fast, expert-driven, and incredibly powerful body, all designed to deliver real environmental justice. But it does leave us with one final, big question to chew on. With a court this powerful on paper, is true environmental justice on the ground now a guarantee? That's something to think about.